Yeah. I used to build my dreams in the box somebody drew. Told myself the boundaries were fixed, were final, were true. Lived inside the limits, handed down before I even tried. Never questioned who decided where the ceiling had to reside. Small thinking felt like safety, felt like something I could trust. Never realized the box itself was slowly turning into rust. Never small again, never small again. I was made for more. Never small again, again, again. Never small again. But I started noticing the limits weren't as real as they seemed. Just borrowed fears from other people's failures, other people's dreams that never got attempted, passed down like they were lost. Started seeing past the box, started seeing what I saw. Underneath the borrowed limits was a version built for more. Awareness cracked the ceiling that felt solid at its core. Never small again, never small again. I was made for more. Never small again. Courage became the tool I used to finally break the frame. Every wall I used to worship started losing its claim. On the space I let it occupy inside my mind and chest, I stopped asking permission to attempt what I thought best. Bigger than the box that used to hold my mind in place. Bigger than the version scared to occupy more space. Expansion isn't arrogance, it's simply growing wide enough to fill the room that always lived inside. Never small again, never small again. Every rep confirms it, never small again. I don't shrink to make it comfortable for those still on the floor. Never small again. That's the truth I live today. The last rep. The last rep. The last rep always find me somewhere close to empty tank. That's exactly where the truth about me comes out of the bank of everything I claim I am. When the effort's still convenient, the last rep exposes who I really am. Disobedient to the version scared to push when comfort's calling loud. That's the exact moment I discover if I'm truly proud enough for who I'm building to keep pushing through the strain. The last rep isn't punishment, the last rep is the game. The last rep is the game. Every single second contains 100 small decisions made, but the final one arrives right when the body's most afraid to keep on going, most persuaded that it's time to stop. That's the exact decision separating who's gonna drop from who's gonna finish, who's gonna find the extra gear. The last rep isn't physical, the last rep lies right here inside the mind, deciding if I'm someone who backs down or someone who keeps pushing when it's easier to lay down. When it's easier to lay down. I don't become the stronger version sitting on the couch. I become it in the exact second when I have to vouch for everything I said I was before the difficulty came. The last rep is the mirror showing exactly who I claim to be versus who I actually am. When it gets hard, transformation doesn't happen easy, doesn't come with guardrails and safety nets. It happens exactly at the brink where the last rep forces me to prove more than I think. Bigger than the 99 reps that came easy before. Bigger than the companies that doesn't have to wait for more. The last rep carries weight that all the others never held. It's the only one that actually shows me who I compelled myself to become through every choice made in the strain. Every single last rep finished as another link, another chain connecting who I say I am to who I proven true. That's the actual measurement, that's the only avenue. That's the only avenue.
Proving true, the last rep changes everything.
And now it's changed me too. Wasn't built to stay the same. I wasn't built to stay contained inside a fixed degree. Every level I arrive at shows another one to see beyond the edge of what I thought was the entire game. Evolution doesn't stop the moment that I claim a version of success that felt enormous at the start. The next level always waits for anyone with the heart to let go of the comfort that a plateau tends to give. I refuse to stay contained in any level that I live. Every evolution has the same exact price for me. Letting go of who I was to become who I could be. I used to grip the old identity like it was a shield. Didn't realize that gripping tight was what was keeping still. The next level shot, waiting on the moment I released a version comfortable, familiar, offering false peace. I let it go completely, let the old me fade away. The next level opened up the second I obeyed. The second I obeyed. The mind and body aren't the only places I expand. There's a spirit deep inside that's also got its own demand for growth. So fake for depth beyond the physical display. Every level spiritual I reach opens another way. Don't understand the purpose driving everything I do. I stop separating body, mind, and spirit. Saw them through as one connected system, climbing toward the exact same peak. The next level asks for everything, not just what's flesh to see. Bigger than the comfort of the level I attained. Bigger than the applause a previous version gained. I don't rest on the achievement long enough to stall. The next level's always calling, always issuing the call to keep ascending, keep evolving, keep letting go of who I used to be before the next horizon came in view. Every plateau is a rest stop, never the final place. I keep my eyes locked forward, keep advancing at my pace. Every rep confirms I'm reaching for the next degree. Every heart to finish shows another level waiting for me. I don't measure my arrival by the level I'm currently on. I measure it by the willingness to keep moving on. Past the comfort, past the version that felt like the top. The next level always calls and I refuse to stop. Climbing toward the fullest version I was always meant to reach. Evolution never finishes, it's a permanent teach. The next level always waits beyond the one I stand on now. Every evolution asks me to release the old somehow. Let go of comfort, let go of who I used to claim to be. Accept the next horizon calling loud in front of me. Spirit, mind, and body climbing to the exact same place. Higher than the version I am versed at any stage. I wasn't built to plateau. I wasn't built to stay the same. To wait on everything around me to improve before I made a single change, before I made a move to the better version I was always meant to be. Waiting on the outside world to shift what I could see. That's backward, that's the exact wrong order for the change. The world was never gonna move until I rearrange the interior first, the mindset, the discipline, the fire. Transformation always starts one level higher. I stop blaming circumstance for everything I write. Stop waiting on. I stop blaming circumstance for everything I write. Stop waiting on. I stop blaming circumstance for everything I write. Stop waiting on. I stop blaming circumstance for everything I write. Stop waiting on. I can feel it in my chest when the ceiling starts to crack. Something big is on the edge and it won't be held back. One breath from the turn, one step. One step. There was a version of me trapped inside somebody else's eyes, living for the not the common thing, approval in the prize that everybody else decided I was worthy to receive. Fear of disappointing kept the real me underneath. I moved careful, moved quiet, moved exactly how they want. Never trusted what was burning underneath, never let it harm me enough to follow it, enough to let it lead. I lived afraid of who I'd be if I finally broke free. everything shifted underneath my skin. Stopped asking what would please them, started asking what was within. Waited patient all those years for me to finally look inside instead of outside. Inside the closed book, I never opened, scared of what I'd find written there. Turns out what was written was a strength beyond compare to anything I borrowed from the world's approval line. The moment I discovered it, I knew that it was mine. Discovering and moving, between knowing what was there and actually proving that I trusted it enough to build my life around the fire I discovered, the strength that I had found. I stopped waiting on motivation, showing up on time. Started trusting what I found was more than just a rhyme or a fleeting feeling passing through a moment's spark. It was permanent, it was steady, was a light against the dark. Bigger than the fear that kept me quiet all those years, bigger than the need for approval, bigger than the tears I cried waiting for permission that was never gonna come. Action was the only bridge from waking up to becoming someone who no longer needed motivation to begin. The soul had already started, the body just moved in behind it, followed quickly once the spirit led the way. Every hard rep became a celebration, not a delay. Every rep confirms the freedom found when the soul woke. Every hard set finishes a chain that finally broke. Free from needing approval, free from waiting on the spark, free from a version of me living scared inside the dark. I don't chase motivation, I don't chase the crowd's applause. I move because my soul's awakened, that becomes the cause. Behind everything I build now, behind every single stride, freedom isn't something given, freedom lives inside.
When my soul woke up completely, my body simply followed through. No more waiting on approval, no more needing something new. To motivate the movement, the fire was already lit. Fear released, it's good completely, and I never looked back at it.
This discovery became the doorway, faith became the frame, action turned to vision, real freedom sealed the flame. My soul woke up one morning and refused to sleep again. My body just kept up with everything that lives within. And live within. Containers at a fixed degree. Every level I arrive at shows another one to see. Beyond the edge of what I thought was the entire game. Evolution doesn't stop the moment that I claim a version of success that felt enormous at the start. The next level always waits for anyone with the heart to let go of the comfort that a plateau tends to give. I refuse to stay contained in any level that I live. Evolution has the same exact price of me. Letting go of who I was to become who I could be. I used to grip the old identity like it was a shield. Didn't realize that gripping tight was what was keeping sealed. The next level stuck, waiting on the moment I release a version comfortable, familiar, offering false peace. I let it go completely, let the only fade away. The next level opened up the second I obeyed. The mind and body aren't the only places I expand. There's a spirit deep inside that's also got its own demand for growth, for pace of depth beyond the physical display. Every level spiritual outreach opens another way to understand the purpose driving everything I do. I stop separating body, mind, and spirit, saw them through as one connected system, climbing toward the exact same peak. The next level asks for everything, not just what's for deep. Bigger than the comfort of the level I attain, bigger than the applause a previous version gained. I don't rest on the achievement long enough to stall. The next level's always calling, always issuing the call that keep us setting, keep evolving, keep letting go of who I used to be before the next horizon came in view. Every plateau is a rest stop, never the final place. I keep my eyes locked forward, keep advancing at my pace. Every rep confirms I'm reaching for the next degree. Every hard set finish shows another level waiting for me. I don't measure my arrival by the level
Every evolution asks me to release the old somehow. Let go of comfort, let go who I used to claim to be. Accept the next horizon, call it loud in front of me. Spirit, mind, and body climbing toward the exact same place. Higher than the version I embrace at any stage. I wasn't built to plateau, wasn't built to stay the same. The next level always waits,
And I'm answering the name. I'm answering the name. Yeah.
Courage used to be a feeling I was summoned when I needed. Show up for a moment and retreat once I completed what evidence of a thing required me to stand. That's not what it is anymore, that's not who I am. Courage stopped being something that I called upon and borrowed. Became the actual name I carry, not a feeling followed by retreat. Back to comfortable once the moment passed. Courage is my permanent address, built to last.
Built to last.
Everybody knows the challenges I've had to face. Public struggles, the visible, the ones that left a trace. Few people know the strength that quietly was born from every single struggle, every single storm. I walked through it privately before it ever showed. The strength was built in silence on that unwitnessed road, where nobody was clapping, nobody keeping score. That's where courage got its name, that's where it settled in for.
People started recognizing something different in my walk. Not from anything I promised, not from any empty talk. From the consistency, the discipline, the refusal to retreat. That's how courage became visible. Not through something being packaged for approval, but through actual daily proof of a determination underneath the sturdy roof. That difficulty built brick by brick through every single test. Recognition followed naturally once I gave it my best.
Bigger than the challenges that everybody got to see. Bigger than the story visible on the surface of me. Every hidden struggle built a strength that few could measure. That's the actual gift, that's the actual treasure. Hidden underneath the difficulty that shaped my name. Nobody sees the forging, only sees the flame. Once it's fully lit, once it's burning bright and clear. The strength was always built through the hardest gear.
Every rep confirms the courage carrying my name. Every horse that finished adds another proof, another claim to the identity I built through every single fight. Courage isn't rented anymore, courage lives in the light of every single day. I choose to keep advancing through the struggles that reveal exactly what I'm built to do. Few people know the force that came from every single test, but everyone will know it now, everyone will witness the rest.
Everybody knew the challenges that tried to break my stride. Few people know the courage that was building deep inside. Every single struggle handed me a piece of who I am. Courage stopped being a feeling, courage became my brand. Recognition doesn't matter as much as what I know is true. The strength that I built quietly is bigger than they knew. Courage has my name now permanently, without shame. Everyone will finally see the force behind the flame.
On the flame. Everyone will.
There was a version of me, just surviving day to day. Moving through the motions, never asking where's the way. Forward toward a purpose, toward a reason to exist. Uncertain of the difference between existing in this list of things I called a life, but never really chose myself. Uncertainty kept me sitting quiet on the shelf of who I could become if I stopped merely getting through. And started asking what I'm actually here to do.
I could feel it in my chest before I knew my name.
Something in me saying
I can't keep running tame. Every slow excuse was starting to within.
Like a door left cracked open, like the air was pulling in, and I
Stood there on the edge of what comes next.
head shaking, mind racing, waiting for the switch. Then came the morning, I decided I was done surviving quietly with Millie, getting by with none of the purpose I was capable of building with my hands. Decision cut straight to be the certainty that stands between the version really coasting and the one alive. I chose the harder goal, the one that makes you strive for something deeper than the comfortable, easy way. That decision became the reason I woke up today. Right after decision took the lead, trusting that the purpose I was chasing was the seed of something bigger than the doubt that tried to hold me still. I stopped needing proof before I gave him my full will. Faith isn't waiting for the evidence to feel complete. It's moving forward while the outcome's still incomplete. I trusted the awakening enough to let it grow into something real, something I finally chose to know. To release, bigger than the version settling for artificial peace. Discipline became the structure to holding up the dream, turning the awakening into something more than just a theme. Every single day became a choice to build again. The purpose that had always been waiting deep within. I stopped treating discipline like punishment, a chore. Started treating it like the exact key to the door. Every rep confront, I'm choosing to become. Every heart that finished, build a new identity. The sum of every decision, every faithful step I've taken since the morning I woke up and stopped calling God for my defense. This isn't the same person really getting through the days. This is someone living purpose in 1,000 different ways. The old version served its time, but it doesn't fit me now. I woke up to a new identity, and I'm keeping the vow.
Today I woke up to a life that always waited for me. Uncertainty gave way to a decision to finally be someone living with purpose instead of merely getting through. Fate walked beside the discipline that carried me into a new identity built on every choice I made to rise. The day I woke up fully saw the truth behind my eyes. Mine is not a moment, this is a permanent new dawn. The old man is dead, buried, gone, and never coming back. Today I woke up completely and I'm on the attack. I'm on the attack.
Brutal instant impact. The past stage. The past stage was never the deciding factor in what I could become. Mistakes I made along the way don't get the final sum of who I am, of what I'm worth, of what I got left to give. The past gets to be history, but not the way I live. Going forward from this exact moment, from today, I don't know the old chapter's power over what I say. Comes next, they wrote a portion, not the end and not the whole. My history isn't finished just because they wrote a roll. Full drum transition, layer stacking, kicking bass, never dropping snare, doubling. Every single day presents the same exact decision point. Do I let the past keep writing, or do I finally anoint myself the author of the chapter that comes after now? I chose the second option, chose to make the vow that nothing written yesterday determines what I write. Starting from this second, starting from tonight, the choice was always available. I just had to finally see that waiting for permission was the only thing holding me.
The best chapter of my story hasn't happened yet.
Not close.
The best chapter of my story hasn't happened yet.
Not close. The best is still arriving. And I'm claiming every shot.
The best is still arriving.
And I'm claiming every shot. Bass slam, synth, post stacking, drum sticking, and further wide the stereo image. I started walking down the road that everybody else expected. Started building something different, something more directed toward the version of myself I always knew was there. Underneath the old mistakes, underneath the old despair, a new path doesn't need the old one fully cleared away. It just needs one decision, one commitment to today. I took the first step, scared, uncertain, far from strong, but every step since then has proven I was never wrong. Snare roll, fill, bass and kick continuing at full volume. Digital little time widening. Bigger than the version limited by what came before. Bigger than the ceiling that the old mistakes I built and swore was permanent, was final, was the only truth I know. A new life doesn't ask if you're deserving, just says go. I stopped auditioning for a future I already own. Every single day I'm building a life I never known was possible until I finally chose to walk away from the story they expected and started my own today. On the day.
Explosive peak, full drums, bass. Explosive peak, repeat.
Every rep confirms a chapter I'm writing isn't done. Every heart's a finish adds a line to the one I begun. Age don't disqualify the story from becoming great. Past mistakes don't get to argue with the future with my fate.
And the best chapter of my story hasn't happened yet.
Not close. Every single day
I'm choosing exactly what I chose.
to become, to build, to write with everything I've got.
The best is still arriving. I'm claiming every shot.
Final beat. Don't slow down. Drums and bass, maximal density. All density.
There was a version of me just surviving day to day, moving through the motions, never asking where's the way. Forward toward a purpose, toward a reason to exist. Uncertain of the difference between existing in this list of things I caught alight but never really chose myself. Uncertainty kept me sitting quiet on the shelf of who I could become if I stopped merely getting through and started asking what I'm actually here to do. Then came the morning, I decided I was done with surviving quietly, with merely getting by. I woke up to a new identity. I chose the harder road. I chose the harder road, and it chose me.
And it shows me the purpose I was capable of building with my hands. Decision cut straight through the uncertainty that stands between the version merely coasting and the one alive. I chose the harder road, the one that makes you strive for something deeper than the comfortable, easy way. That decision became the reason I woke up today. Faith walked in right after decision took the lead. I stopped needing proof before I gave it my full will.
I woke up. I woke up
To a new identity.
I chose the harder road. I chose the harder road, and it chose me. Faith isn't looking for the evidence to feel complete. It's moving forward while the outcome's still incomplete.
I trusted the awakening enough to let it go into something real, and I finally chose to know. Bigger than the comfort I was willing to release, bigger than the version settling for artificial peace. Discipline became the structure holding up the dream, turning the awakening into something more than just a theme. Every single day became a choice to build again, the purpose that had always been waiting deep within. I stopped treating discipline like punishment, the chore. Started treating it like the exact key to the door.
Every rep confirms the man I'm choosing to become. Every heart set finish builds the new identity. I woke up to a new identity. I chose the harder road. I chose the harder road, and it chose me.
This isn't the same person, merely getting through the days. But this is someone living purpose in 1,000 different ways. The